Since I qualified as a personal trainer back in the early 2000s, there's been another, 50,000 personal trainers in the UK alone that have come into the marketplace. And forget about how many have joined the marketplace worldwide. I can't even imagine. But I have seen these three things that have killed personal training businesses over and over and over again. And I'm about to share them with you. You may not want to hear them, but if you get this and you start to adapt and put into practice what I'm about to tell you, if you are struggling right now to get clients, I believe it can absolutely transform your business. So let's dive into what these three things are that are killing your personal training business. Number one, you may have heard this said before, and it's not having a niche or however you want to pronounce it, but working with a specific type of person. Now, let me just back up for a second and say this. When I first started out as a personal trainer in the early 2000s, and when I went eventually full-time in 2006, having worked part-time to begin with before leaving the military, I did not know who my niche was. In fact, back then, we didn't even speak about niches. It was just like, I'm a personal trainer and we could train everybody and anybody, okay? That's what it was like back in the early days. So niche wasn't even a thing. And I did boot camps, I did general fitness, I did weight loss, I did sports conditioning for tennis and football, I was doing massage, Pilates, I was doing loads of things. So I didn't know who my niche was when I began. And you may be in that position right now, and it may take you another 12 months or more before you find out who you actually want to work with. And I get that because I've been in that position myself. But what I can tell you is this. The moment I settled on working with my ideal client, and I found that by trial and error, and it turned out to be women over 45 typically, who are looking to lose anywhere between 20 and 50 pounds plus, typically professional sorts of women. That became my niche, and I'll maybe do another video as to how I eventually settled on that niche. But just for here and now, once I settled on that niche and started serving that particular audience, it made my life so much easier. And here's one of the big differences it will make to you as a personal trainer. When you are working with a specific niche, a specific type of person who's got a specific problem, your marketing can be so much clearer and easier to put out, because you're not trying to speak to everybody, because that's the problem that I had. Because I had so many things I was offering, my website had to reflect. It was almost like a supermarket. I was offering everything to everybody. But once I became specific about who I wanted to work with, I could be very clear about the marketing messages that I was putting out there. Now, one of the fears or one of the resistances that personal trainers have to niching down and specializing, and I certainly had this as well, was the fear of missing out on other opportunities of working with other people. But what I found personally was, despite the fact I was putting all the marketing messages out there to work with women of a certain age, I was still attracting other people, and I work with dozens of men. So please don't fall into that trap of thinking if you niche down, you're going to close down all the other avenues. It just simply means you can be a bit more discerning. So if I got a guy that came to me that I didn't think I could help, or just didn't want to work with for whatever reason, I could say no thanks. So that's number one thing that's probably killing your business if you're not doing it, specialization. So that's number one. Number two is not having a specific package stroke solution to help your ideal client. Now, not having a specific package or solution, that's a symptom of not having a niche, because if you are working with anybody and everybody, why would you need a specific solution? You don't need one. You can just offer personal training. So not having a niche leads to the second problem, which is not having a specific package stroke solution to help somebody get the results they want. Now, before I go any further, if you'd like to find out about some more in-depth training about how to put some of these things together, like finding your niche and putting together packages, there's a link below this video. It'll take you to a page where you can access your name, your email, and you'll get some free training on how to actually create your own specialist fat loss program. That's the area that I specialized in. That's what I put the training together on. So you can click the link and you can watch that after this video. So that's two things I've spoken about. Number three is selling either pay-as-you-go or selling blocks of 10 personal training sessions. Let's deal with both of those first of all before we talk about what I think is a better solution. Selling pay-as-you-go, not only can you not predict what's happening on a month-by-month basis with your income, you can't even predict what's happening week by week, because one week somebody's paying you, another week they're not paying you. it's a nightmare. In fact, I know of personal trainers who are still adopting that system today. And the problem is, many of those people that do the pay-as-you-go are people who are maybe doing this as a hobby, part-time. They're not trying to build a serious business. It's maybe just a bit of pin money. But the problem is, they kind of infect, I use that word, you know, but yeah, they kind of infect the people who are trying to be professional about the business. And people who are trying to be professional, they hear about these people saying, oh, no, I just do pay-as-you-go. I like to be free and loose and give my clients lots of freedom and not try and tie them into anything. That is not the way you're going to build a successful personal training business. And then we've got the next option, which is selling blocks of 10, something that I used to do myself back in the day, selling blocks of 10. And because I didn't know any better, that's what everybody was doing, selling blocks of 10. You might get the odd PT that was selling blocks of 20, but generally speaking, blocks of 10 was the way to go. Now, here's the problem with selling blocks of 10. Let's just say you've got 5 clients and they've all signed up for a block of 10 and they're seeing you twice a week, which is kind of like typical for personal training, 2 sessions a week. And let's say each of those have signed up for, say, 5 weeks, 2 sessions a week, and they've signed up for £200 each. Okay, great. In 5 weeks' time, you've now got, let me just back up a second. What I was basically trying to say was you've got PTs who have signed up 5 clients, 2 sessions a week for 5 weeks. Forget about the money part just now. This is what they signed up for. In 5 weeks' time, you're going to have 5 conversations with 5 people about signing up again for another block of 10. Now, depending on how they're doing, if they're all doing fantastically well, that could be reason to sign back up again. Conversely, it might be reason not to sign back up again, because if they're doing really well and they think, you know what, I know what I'm doing now, I'll just go on my own, then you've lost them. But basically, you've got 5 conversations to have with 5 different people. I don't want to be in that situation. I really don't want to be having those sort of conversations. When I built my PT business as an individual and then eventually with a team of trainers, I had a system where we sold a minimum of 12 weeks, and that was the absolute minimum. Typically, we were selling 6 months and 12-month packages. When you do that, just think about it for a second in your own head. And before you do that, just comment below maybe if you are selling blocks of 10 still now. But just think about this. If you're selling, let's just say 12 weeks personal training, and you've got 5 clients on a 3-month package, think about the mental stability, the confidence that gives you financially to know for the next 3 months, you don't have to worry about where your income is going to be. You know you're going to get, let's say they're paying you £200 a month each, you know you're going to get £1,000 a month coming in. Now I know £1,000 a month isn't big bucks, but hey, it's still good money. £1,000 a month is still money, it's still good money to me. But you've got £1,000 a month coming in for the next 3 months. So it takes the pressure off you in terms of knowing your income is going to be stable. It allows you to be a bit more relaxed working with your client. The client knows where they're going, so that you can both focus on getting the result they've actually signed up for. And if you sign them up for 6 months, 12 months, wow, think about the mental freedom that gives you in terms of knowing where your income is going to be in 6-12 months time. It gives you enough time to relax, work on your marketing, attract a couple of clients here and there, and keep building up that monthly recurring revenue. Now, if you want to find out a little bit more about how to build and structure packages, I mentioned that's point number 2, check out the next video where I go through some of the simple steps that are going to help you.